Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. Glad you could join us. And yeah, it's the second video of the week for me, so I'm doing okay. So first of all, message to all those BWTM supporters, particularly those who are back in the Bayloric TV days. Again, I really would love your support over on my new channel. Please do check it out. Let me just show you the advert for the channel first. So that is the Lagos Cricket Academy TV. Please do get across there and subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate it. Doing a lot of great work in the community, doing a lot of development work. And there's some exciting news coming out as well. So please do check that out. So most of my time is over there now doing work in that part of the world, doing things. You don't have to like the sport of cricket. You just have to, obviously, you follow what I do. Just keep following and keep supporting. Really appreciate it. So KUBRAT Pulev, DERECK Chisora 2, the rematch. We're in England, so we have to call it DERECK Chisora versus KUBRAT Pulev 2. A lot of thoughts that come into my mind. First of all, the press conference. DERECK Chisora said that he couldn't throw the table. He couldn't do anything that would be out of the extraordinary, which is what we know of DERECK Chisora, to do strange things at a press conference. Look, the fight doesn't sell unless DERECK Chisora does something crazy, because who the hell wants to see KUBRAT Pulev and DERECK Chisora fight again? And I did say that in a previous video that for this fight to be interesting is for DERECK Chisora and KUBRAT Pulev to do some sort of antics. That's why people saw the first fight. There had to be some antics again, press conference and antics again, you know, at the weigh-in and stuff like that. There has to be some antics for DERECK Chisora. That's why people tune in to see DERECK Chisora, because they just don't know what they're going to get. So it's quite strange, because he sat there and he said, well, you know, I've got fined and for things I've done previously in press conferences. I'm not going to do it again. But yet he's sitting in a press conference and he's swearing like a sailor. F this and F that and F this and F that. And he's at the weigh-in and get off my effing stage and F this. And so I'm like, well, I thought you were concerned about getting fined and paying a fine, but you're there swearing in a press conference and using foul language. So I'm like, really? Anyway, that's just one of the things that just didn't make sense. Secondly, don't make sense is that how many times have you heard it come out of the words of Eddie Hearn with referring to DERECK Chisora's careers? He's in a last chance saloon. This is a must-win fight for DERECK Chisora. Well, it wasn't a must-win fight for him when he fought Dillian Whyte. Wasn't a must-win fight for him when he fought Joseph Parker. Wasn't a must-win fight when he fought Joseph Parker the second time. Wasn't a must-win fight when he fought David Haye. Every fight that you're in is a must-win fight. Are there fights where you go into where it doesn't matter if you win or you lose? Every fight you go into is a must-win fight. So when you turn around and tell me it's a must-win fight, are you trying to make a fool of me? Because I swear in the first Joseph Parker fight was a must-win fight. The first fight with Dillian Whyte was a must-win fight. The second fight with Dillian Whyte was a must-win fight. And, you know, the loser can't come back from here. DERECK Chisora has been recycled and recycled and recycled and recycled over and over again. You have to call it recycled war Chisora. Listen, don't get me wrong. I like DERECK Chisora, and I've been fortunate and I've been blessed to be in one of his training camps in preparation for the Tyson Fury fight. I have been, and also in the David Hay build up, I was very fortunate to actually sit down and have a meal with Derek Chisora at Nando's in Finchley. So I'm very fortunate to be able to sit down and talk at length with Derek Chisora. When I met Derek Chisora, actually, he was preparing to fight Vitaly Klitschko. That's how long ago that was. And he was, I sat down, I talked with him. And one of the questions I asked Derek was this. I said, Derek, you're fighting Vitaly Klitschko. Have you watched any tapes on Vitaly? He's like, man, I don't watch tapes. We'll sit down, him and his girl at the time, and I don't watch tapes. I don't really get down like that. So, I don't think he really does watch any tapes of fights. I think he just trains, gets himself in the best shape possible, and fight. I mean, I was again fortunate to watch him up close, watching him sparring against Marius Vac. That was when Marius Vac was Marius Vac, not now. When Marius Vac was, upcoming heavyweight, it was Marius Vac and the other guy, Ustinov. And that was before Fury was going to fight him. So that's when Ustinov was a big name, along with Vac. So Chisora was sparring both of them. Chisora was in good form there. Actually, that's how he damaged his thumb. And that's how that second fight with Fury got postponed. Chisora got his thumb damaged. So, yeah, that's going back way back then. I saw him sparring then. So, total carnage, they're calling this. Well, you could put all that to one side. That does not sway me one point or the other. So now let's get down to the fight. Let's talk about the fight itself. KUBRAT Pulev in his last fight against Jerry Forrest looked pretty decent, looked pretty good against Jerry Forrest. Is a guy that's upset a few guys. He's a good standard, good heavyweight, and KUBRAT Pulev looked good with a jab. He looked like he made slight adjustments to his style as well. It's good jab, still got a good jab and a good right hand. Did well against Forrest, So in the US, fighting away from home, that's good. So I was quite happy to see that. Didn't take too much punishment, Let's look at Derek Chisora. Well, he had that fight with Parker the first time. He had the rematch against Parker, and I have to tell you, I went back and watched the highlights of that second fight with Chisora, and he took some hellacious shots. Some of the shots that Derek Chisora took, I have to tell you, I was watching against it. I was cringing, literally cringing watching Derek Chisora take those shots. He was getting hit. Yes. Snazzy Azzy, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. If Chisora is in a stinker and loses, is that the end for him? No. They can recycle him again. Eddie Hearn will say, Chisora's allowed to have a bad night. He's had bad nights before and come back. So you know the line they'll spin there. Yeah, as I say, so you had the first fight against Parker, and then he had the second fight against Parker, and the second fight against Parker, he got his ass well and truly beat up. He looked old in there. Look at the thing. There's things to look at that fight. When Derek Chisora fought Parker for the second time, you look carefully. There was very little head movement from Chisora. He was moving in much slower. And Parker was picking him off at will. He was hitting with triple left hooks and uppercuts. Derek Chisora was ducking into the uppercut. When he was ducking, he was closing his eyes. So you didn't see the uppercut coming. That's bad form. And Derek Chisora, the Derek Chisora I remember, back in days when he fought Vitaly Klitschko, he was moving in, he was bobbing and weaving. That Derek Chisora that fought Joseph Parker, there was no bobbing and weaving. It was just come straight forward, a winging overhand right. And he didn't look the same guy. He did not look the same guy. And he cannot. It is impossible that Derek Chisora can come in and fight better against KUBRAT Pulev in the second time they did the first time. I think I need to bring people's memory back, because Chisora said in the build-up that he believes that he won the fight against KUBRAT Pulev. And I had to go back and watch that fight again. What fight did Derek Chisora? So I went back and watched the fight again. From like round one, he was getting hit with a jab and the right hand. It was a jab fest. Jab, 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 right hand down the pipe. Jab, right hand down the pipe. jab, right hand down the pipe, jab, uppercut, jab, right hand. So KUBRAT Pulev was teeing off on Derek Chisora in the first fight. Don't let him lie to you and tell you, yeah, he won that fight, or because it was in Germany, he lost that fight. He lost that fight because KUBRAT Pulev was a better fighter, a better boxer, better school boxer. So I like these face-offs because it tells me a lot about the mindset of fighters and where they're at. And Pulev was schooling Derek Chisora in the face-off. He was telling Derek, you talk about you war, but you never come with a game plan. And that backs up what I said about Derek Chisora about when I met him. He doesn't watch videotape. He's not one of the type of guys. Get in shape. If you want to call him throwback, then you can call him throwback. Get in shape, get fit, get psyched up, have a fight. That is Derek Chisora. That's his product. And at a certain level, that's effective. But at elite level, you need to have a plan. And KUBRAT Pulev is saying, Derek, you have no plan. You're just going to come forward, get fit, in shape, and have a war. Well, you did that the last time, and it didn't work out for you. And you go back and look at the fight, it wasn't close. Chisora was getting his head jabbed off. He was getting hit with straight right hands. He was getting hit with uppercuts. In fact, there were times he says, oh, you can't knock me out. Well, there were times that Pulev had Chisora back up against the ropes, and literally he was getting teed off on. That was then. Since then, I believe he's fought Dillian Whyte, he's fought Joseph Parker. He's been in some wars. And that last Joseph Parker fight, that fight could have done him no favors whatsoever. He was getting so now he comes up with this war thing. And I just think to myself that you can only go to the well so much. And the well looked like it dried up on that night against Parker. And Parker's problem was Parker's not got that amateur pedigree that like Pulev had. Parker, when he never learned from his mistake. The first time that he dropped Chisora, he just backed him against the ropes, and then he just smothered his work. He wasn't clean. He didn't step off and use a jab and work the body and bring the uppercut upstairs again. Didn't do those things. He just smothered him and just threw 3 left hooks, which were nice, but they weren't clean stuff. A more cleaner fighter like Pulev, who's got a better jab than Parker, would have kept Chisora against the rope and landed significant punches. I believe that if KUBRAT Pulev gets Chisora into that sort of position that Parker had him, he would have finished the fight off, in my opinion. Because, I don't know, I felt Parker kind of felt sorry for him in there, or they were too nice, they were too friendly. And I don't know if that same friend... And Parker himself was scared because he got dropped by Chisora in the first fight. So he still has that in his mind. Plus, he's now boxing to orders by Andy Lee. So he didn't want to get caught with anything silly running in. I don't blame him. But when you look at something KUBRAT Pulev, he's more of a stand-up European style, use the jab. He'll always start with a jab. He'll always start with a jab. Like I've said before, show me a right hand, it will take you around the corner. Show me a left jab, it will take you around the world. And KUBRAT Pulev has an excellent left jab to keep Chisora at distance and then land that right hand. Chisora's best punch for this fight to beat KUBRAT Pulev is the left hook. The left hook is a punch I'm not sure KUBRAT Pulev has mastered at defending it against. So it's the left hook. Chisora's going to have to bob and weave. He's going to have to come in and he's going to have to throw the left hook. But Chisora's not moving his head anymore. So the Chisora that fought against Pulev in the first fight, there's a different fight than the second fight because Chisora's not moving his head in the same way. And he's not fighting with the same sort of energy. He can't, like he's fought back then. So, yeah. Snazzy says, Chisora has been in with every trainer. What would Bashir do for Del Boy? Not a lot. Because I believe that Chisora once called Bashir Uncle Tom. I think that was for working with the Klitschko's and working with Sorenko and working with, what's the guy from South Africa? I can't remember his name again. Ruben Visser, so he was referring to that and he called him an Uncle Tom. That was around the time that I believe Klitschko was going to fight David Haye. If I'm right, I could be wrong there, but it's around that time. So no, and I don't think that Bashir would stand for any nonsense. You've seen, I don't know, you saw Chisora in the whole fracas with his trainer, his old long-time trainer, Don Charles back then, fighting with his trainer. So, I mean, I don't think that Bashir would deal with Chisora in any way, shape or form. Just my opinion, but I'll ask him in the next time I do an interview with him. I had a pretty close fight last time, but thought Pulev just nicked it. One of the judges gave it to Chisora, split decision. Adam Smith said it was an atrocious scoring. No, I thought Chisora was well beaten. He was getting hit with a jab and the right hands repeatedly. The jab was hitting Chisora in the face. He landed some punches, but for the most part, a lot of those punches were being blocked by KUBRAT Pulev. The jab was clean and hitting Chisora in his face all the time. But I guess people score things differently, but there's no way I thought Chisora won that fight against KUBRAT Pulev. No way. Yeah. So for me, KUBRAT throws a nice right uppercut. He throws a nice right uppercut. He's got a nice jab. He's got a nice right hand. If I'm KUBRAT Pulev, say, listen, do what you did the first fight. Use your jab, use your straight right hand, throw the uppercuts. Throw more uppercuts in this fight because of the Parker fight. Chisora's going to walk straight into it. I don't even know who Chisora's trainer is for this fight, but the fact that Chisora thinks that you can't knock him out, and the fact Chisora doesn't have a game plan, and the fact that Derek Chisora fights the same way in every fight without a game plan, those are all the things you can use against him when he has for this rematch. Use the jab, be long, use the jab, hit him with the right hands, hit him with the uppercuts, tie him up. The key component in this fight is going to have to be the referee. KUBRAT alluded to the fact of the UK and dodgy referees and judges. He didn't say it in that sense, but he said he just wants a fair shake if he wins or loses. But to me, KUBRAT Pulev is far the fresher fighter. Despite his 2 losses, it's been the elite fighters that have beaten him. And I was disappointed in the performance that KUBRAT Pulev put in against just Joshua. I really was. I thought he could have done so much more, but that's neither here nor there. I go with the fresher man, the fresher man. KUBRAT Pulev's what, 40, 41, I think Chisora's 38, something like that. So, but Chisora's got more miles on the clock. I'm going to go with a guy who's the better boxer, who's got the better ring IQ, who probably coming better prepared, and he's consistent with his trainers. So I'm going KUBRAT Pulev, maybe a unanimous decision, maybe even a stoppage. I would not be surprised if Pulev stopped Chisora in this fight because his punch resistance is no way the same. He doesn't get out of the way of punches the same way. If you look at the last Parker fight, he didn't move his head. He was walking into uppercuts. And as you get older in your career, it goes one of 2 ways. In the heavyweight division, as you get older, some guys get better or they mature and they really come into their own. Could it be for KUBRAT Pulev that he's coming into his own late on in his career? Or is it just the same with KUBRAT Pulev and Chisora can out-hustle him? I would be surprised if Chisora was to out-hustle him. Like I said, Pulev's vulnerability is the left hook. And Chisora did land the left hook clean on his chin in the first fight. And it was a flush shot because I saw it. And his face, sort of like the water sprayed off his face, the left hook. Beautiful shot. But I hope that there's going to be no issues with the gloves for this fight, and that the fight goes on and there's no problems backstage. But otherwise, I'm going to go KUBRAT Pulev for this one. Decision. I'm going stoppage stroke decision rather than decision stroke stoppage. Big fan of both cricket and boxing. Keep up the good working. Thank you so much. Adam, hope you're enjoying the channel and the work we're doing. I'll be keep uploading videos. There's some tournaments coming up soon as well, so that's going to be quite exciting. I think those matches will be pretty live on YouTube. Exciting, and yeah, there's so much things I'd love to share, but at this minute in time, I have to keep it pretty quiet because I don't know who's watching what. But yeah, enjoy the channel. Oh, by the way, the channel, the page now. If you go to Google Play Store, go to Google Play Store today. If you've got an Android phone, obviously, go to Google Play Store and type in this. Yeah. If you go to the Google Play Store and type in Lagos Cricket Academy TV, you will see that we have an app up there. Ingram, are you full-time on YouTube? Hell no, bro. No, bro. No, I'm not. I don't have time to be. Just don't have time to be. Like I said, my work's really with my cricket. If I were full-time on YouTube, I don't think I've ever been a full-time YouTuber. I've always been just doing bits and bobs here and there. There was a time that I was running around doing lots of interviews, out doing the media work back then. But I just don't have time for it anymore. Really don't. But I also have some good news. I managed, just to update you before I finish, I managed to get a few numbers. And let me go back here. Courtesy of Mr. Bashir. So let me show you, let me tell you. Let's see what we've got here. So let me... so here are the guys that I've managed to get a hold of so far. So he says Uncle Bashir's got us a Shahid Saluki. That was the guy that was trained by Audley, that trained Audley Harrison when Emmanuel Stewart rejected him. Don Turner got the court number here, and a gentleman by the name of Bilal Brown Sugar Ali, his name is. He was an old school teacher, old school boxing teacher, and in this case, he was an ex-undefeated professional. So 3 trainers I'm going to be probably getting around to talk to: Shahid Saluki, Don Turner. We all know who Don Turner is, and Bilal Brown Sugar Ali. And if I can get them on here to do the live shows, then new members are in for a cheap treat. So there you go. That's your update in terms of your old school trainers joining and being part of BWTM Sports. What I want to ask you all as well, particularly the members, videos. If you want me to start looking at fighters, and I did say I was going to do this before, ones to watch. I'm going to start doing. Oh, what a legend! You know, you are so resourceful. You are so resourceful. Yeah, if you click the link right here, the link is in the description box. It's a link to the app, Play Store. There you go. That's the app right there. And for those of you who cannot get to the Play Store and haven't got it, then no, not to worry. There you go. And that is the website. You can just check that out there. So you can get across and have a look at that as well. And you can see the stuff that's going on in the community. Okay, so there you go. I think that's it. So I'm going to go with Pulev by stoppage, stroke / points decision. Yeah. The fight's in the UK. And I will say this in closing. I don't put anything past money and blind eyes. So I believe that if you play the game, you'll get the pass. So I will say that much. I will say that much. I won't say too much, but I'll say that much. I don't I have very little faith in this sport in terms of integrity anymore. Gloves, bandaging, steroid use, all that stuff. I have no faith anymore. It's about money and position and power. Well, it's always been that. But I think in this day and age where there's social media and everybody watching, there is even less. It's more boldface. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. It can be right in your face. It can be right in your face. And they'll tell you it ain't happening. So I'll leave it as that. But I look forward to the fight tomorrow night. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who do you think, which is more important, who do you think is going to win the fight between KUBRAT Pulev and DERECK Chisora? And I was just saying before I finish, send me some fighters that you would like me to talk about, and I'll do short videos on them, my thoughts on the fighters. So I think that's about it. Fabio Wardley's fighting tomorrow night as well. Should be interesting. And I think Solomon, he's fighting. He fought well against Sokolowski. I've a look at him as well. He looked decent. Another interesting fight, Alexander versus Felix Cash. That's an interesting fight to look at as well. And then DERECK Chisora. Yeah, DERECK Chisora's boy. The guy DERECK Chisora's backing at the moment. DERECK Chisora went and said in the press conference that his boy is fighting nobodies. I can't believe. I mean, that is absolutely, if he's promoting me or if he was looking after me, like you've just spoken about, you've just come out, people are seeing you, cameras on you, you've just spoken, and DERECK's just giving you a big up and said, oh yeah, I like the way this guy fights, blah, 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 blah. You said your bit. And then DERECK Chisora, about 20 minutes later, turns around and says, well, that guy down there who's fighting nobodies. I'm like, wait, bro, we know he's fighting nobodies, but you don't have to make it obvious. So I don't know. That's just me. I don't know if you caught that, but to me, I listened to that and went, ooh, what? It's just me. Don't mind me. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon. This has been BWTM Sports. Have a good one.